All right, let's get started. So today we're going to talk about running comps or comparables. Running comparables is very important to kind of test the waters and see the valuation of a property. And it's very important for when we are putting offers for buyers or if we want to get a listing and see how much we should list the property at. So let's get started. First, open up your MLS and we'll do matrix search. And when we do our comps, we always run a active, pending, and sold. Okay, but I just usually choose contingent as well. And for list date, you can normally do within 3 to 6 months. 6 months the most that you can use for appraisal, and that's the reason why 6 months is the max. So typically, I want to find out what's happening as soon. The closer, the better. So let's try 3 months ago. So as of today, it's 5/13. So let's go 02 and 13. Okay, in 2017. Remember to make sure you do plus. If you don't do the plus, they'll only check that day. If you do that, this day plus means that day for. Okay, single family house. And if you know that property is a 3-2, so I'm just gonna just do a 3-2 because you want to find the properties that are very similar to your subject property. If you're looking at a property as 3-2 and then the comp show as a 5-4 or a 2-1, it really doesn't give you any information, right? So knowing that, let's go for, instead of city, I always do map search. And kind of give you an example of whatever property you're going to be listing or whatever property you're going to be putting an offer for, that is what you will put on your subject property. So I'm going to use a random property right now. Let's see here. Let's just go with, this one right here. Okay, I'm going to look at this one. Let's run the comps for this property right here. And let's actually, instead of LME, let's go with this one. Okay, so we go back to criteria. We go to map search. That's the property that we're going to be looking at. Okay, actually, let me just check something real quick. This one's actually a sold property, so not as good to use. Let's go with, let's look for active one. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Let's see. It says there's 5,000. So let's go with San Jose. Okay. Here, now a lot less. Okay. So let's go with this one right here. It's a 3-2. Okay, 1,400 square foot, $4 million. That's the listed. But let's run the comps. Let's see what this area does as far as how much the value is. So we'll go back here. We do map search. Going to put that address right here. And that's the subject property right there. So when you're looking for comps, you can do a few ways. You can do a radius, so anything around it, which I don't like doing because sometimes properties in this side of the street are very different from properties from this side of the main street. All these yellow lines are main streets, okay? So what I like to do instead, let's delete this, oops, let's delete this, let's delete the shapes, okay? And what I like to do is do a, what we call polygon. And this, I can circle around certain areas that I believe is the actual neighborhood of the subject property. So now I don't look at any properties over here or out here, just only the ones within its neighborhood. So right here I see about, I would say, good 13. I would always try to get at least 5. 13 is fine. 5 to 20 is good. Anything more than 20 is just way too much. So right here, as you can see, these are the active ones. We want to look at active because these are the ones that are your competitors, especially if you're listing or also if you're buying, what your other options are. And both of these are about a very big difference, as you can see. This was 1.3, where this is 1.1, or not even a million yet. It's barely a million. And if you look at all these other properties that are pending, okay, 1.2, and these are ones sold. Sold is actually the heavyweight. This is what you look mainly as far as comps. So all the comps you see here is about 1.2 1 million to 1.4 million. There's a big difference there, and certain reasons why. Sometimes we look at the square footage, but as far as square footage, some of these are even smaller. So I would always look into the property. So when you look at this property, let's see if it's very fixed up. Is the interior exterior really nice? So let's go take a look at the pictures. It is okay, very clean, a little bit outdated, and that's maybe why it's at the lower end, $1 million. Let's see here, rooms are kind of small and definitely not fully fixed up. Where I assume if we look at the other properties, like the $1.4 million one right here, it should be very fixed up, very nice. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Oh, okay, not really that fixed up. And let's just see why the property is worth so much. So 95129, which maybe is the reason why it's the zip code. So you always have to look at the zip code as well. Yep, totally different zip code. And when you are looking at different zip codes, hence you see the huge price difference. So a lot of times when you look at neighborhoods like that, it does cross zip codes, and that does make a huge factor. So what we do is go back in here, and we would take out this one right here. I believe this is the 1.4, and it is. So let's move this over. And like I said, see a big price difference that I mentioned? This is a very good example. Once you go to this side, Saratoga Avenue, these properties here worth a lot more. So go back here, and now if you look at it, it's fairly around the same price range, about 1.1 million to 1.3, and this is priced pretty correctly, and that's how you do comps. There's gonna be a lot of other factors later on. But you do have any problems, give me a call. Sometimes you don't have enough properties. I would go further back. Remember, we go up to 6 months. Sometimes if you cannot, if you get too much, I lower it by finding the square footage. So if that one was a 1,200 square foot, I'll go 1,100 to maybe 1,300 square foot. Okay. Another way you can lower it is closing up the gaps of the map. So if you have maybe 20 in this, 25 in this whole area, you saw how I did, where I could just move the square smaller, and you get less that way. But typically, if you have, you would never see way too many. I never really see more than 20. Very rarely. A lot of times you don't get enough, and that's when you have to broaden your searches. So again, another give you some more examples. If reverse way would be, hey, there's not enough properties, and you widen this. You make it a little bit bigger. Make sure, again, keep in the same zip code. Maybe go a little bit bigger, go a little bit more like that. And hopefully you get enough for your comps. Okay? If you have any other questions, again, just give me a call.